Hey guys, February 18th, back down at Pine Lake here, back at it again. But today we finally have the highly anticipated ZRT down here for the ZRT video. To give you a quick run through, we got it at the Sioux and then spent that whole next week kind of just going through it. Tore a lot of it down just to kind of go through it, see what it was all shaped up to be and everything. And then this past week we had just been kind of down here doing speed runs until just 2 days ago, where we finally got our 1-inch hacksaw track in there. So now, starting today, now we're going to try to do a little bit more of the handling side of things. So like just a quick rundown of kind of what we did to the sled to get it ready for the Lake Lemon stuff was that we already had a set of front shocks set up, but after we got it on the ice, we immediately noticed that it could easily be a little bit lower. So I think we'll have to set up a different set of front shocks to probably go another 1/2 inch or inch lower is what we're thinking. And we got heavy sway bar in here. We got our Lake Lemon bars on, put can't remember what size slug in the rear shock. We readjusted the rear shock twice. Even after we put it all back together, it's like, no, that's too low. So then Dad took it back out and readjusted it. So this is kind of our first baseline setup. This is pretty funny. Out here on our, this is actually old straightaway from the Pine Lake race weekend that is still in pretty good condition. But standing right here, radaring, chunk of a nice nice track. Having to run 1.25 inch tracks on the lakes sucks because you throw all your outside lugs off in the first race weekend. So kind of what we did going through the sled was went through the clutches, just make sure all the clutches weren't sticky or nothing. We actually pulled the airbox off and went through all the carburetors just to kind of see what was in there for stock. And then this sled, being an LE, actually came with reverse too. So we left that in there last week, but now we actually pulled the reverse out and everything, but we left the big reverse case on, or the outer case on, just because we didn't want to buy it just to cover. So, but going through it, it's clean and it's nice and straight. But about the only thing that we're having an issue with as of right now is that we're having an issue with the RPM tack is not calibrated correctly or calibrated at all, because we just made a 3 gram weight change and didn't change it at all. And I know that Arctic Cat has had some issues with these running like 200 RPMs low, but for us to not have any differences in those weight changes is kind of odd. So I think we might try to look into trying to get a different gauge on here somehow. But right now we're just kind of testing with the radar gun of seeing what makes a difference or not. So what's your take on it, Dad, so far?
It's freaking heavy. It's a very heavy sled, but it is fast.
Well, that's a full another day of testing out on Pine Lake. ZRT. The handling was actually pretty close for our first little baseline test to throw in there. Get rid of a little bit of weight transfer in the rear, some sharper carbides, and I think it'd be good. It was plenty raceable today, but just that's how much better it could be. We got to figure out some brake ducting to throw like underneath the hood here. It does have like probably the stock pads, and I tried to get as much of the old fluid out as I could, but it was getting pretty hot even while we built just a little brake burner of a course just to kind of get the handling in. So, but other than that, pretty happy with it so far. So I don't know if this is going to be one video, or I think we'll probably be back down here again tomorrow and maybe make another video on that, throw the GoPro on. So who knows, maybe we'll have a whole lot of triple content coming. Anybody's got any tips or tricks for these old triples, let us know. So